these go together. So let's start building. Hello guys, hope you all have a wonderful day. Welcome back for part 2 on how to build your own guitar amplifier. In the last part we have received these, the PCBs. So in this part, let's try to make something out of them. So we start off by soldering the smallest components first. In this case they're gonna be the diodes, the Schottky diodes, because they are the smallest ones in this build. If this is the first build you are seeing, the reason behind of starting off with the smallest components is you're soldering with the board flipped upside down and the components being on the bottom. Logically, if you start with the biggest components, the small components gonna fall out when you try to solder them, and you're just gonna make your life a lot more difficult. So it's beneficial to start with the smallest ones, like the diodes, and after the diodes we continue with the resistors, which again have different sizes. We start with the half-watt ones and we move up to the 2-3 watt ones at the end in the power supply. And here we are with day 2, new day, new hoodie, new motivation, as we continue on with soldering the remaining of the resistors until the remaining parts arrive, because unfortunately it takes a lot of parts and you need to order some, and it takes a while until they get delivered. So let's see if they have been delivered. Delivery time. Yay! Great success. Let's continue. On day 3, after the great success, we continue with soldering on the relays, as well as sorting through all of the capacitors I have at hand, so I have a better overview of which one to start with. With day 4, you might be able to already grasp a little bit of the scheme here. We continue on with the capacitors. We install all of the coupling capacitors, all of the filtering capacitors, and things are a little bit more difficult with the soldering at this point because, of course, capacitors have a different shape, they differ in size as well, so sometimes it can be a little bit more difficult to hold them in place to solder them flush to the board. After being done with the soldering of the capacitors, I have decided to salvage whatever is worth from the chassis, like the transformers, some of the cables, the pots, the switches, because all of these are going to be transferred to the new one. Another package. My original plan was to reuse the old chassis because it didn't really have any major flaws except the thousands of holes I have drilled into them. So I have decided against, and I have ordered a new one because it seemed the reasonable choice, to be honest, and these chassis are not that expensive either, so it just made sense to start from a fresh page. One of the most critical things that I haven't done with the previous amplifier is to measure the transformer placement, but it turns out that I was pretty much bang on because I used almost the same positions for the new amplifier, and I found that it has the least interference between the two transformers. After being done with the measurements, it was time to head down to the workshop, where you can cut and drill and feel like a man, and also really mess up your progress if you don't have the right tools to do the job. And if you haven't guessed, my workshop is pretty basic, but luckily I've been dealing with a lot of under-equipped workshops in my life, so I know how to overcome these difficulties. Or maybe not, because I have overcut the hole for the output transformer, but please don't tell this anyone, nobody's gonna see it. It's just me and you, okay? Don't tell anyone. So the chassis is done, it's drilled out more or less, as much as I could do without proper tools, but it's done. Back and front plates. PCB, that's also done, and all the other stuff around me. So I guess it's time for assembly, which is gonna be part 3. See you there.